Ekene Ngige. I'm the coffee artist. You're welcome to my studio. So it all started in 2015. I was the brand designer for a restaurant slash cafe. We're having this meeting on expansion and all that. That's when I had the spill of coffee on my notepad, and the coffee looked great, looked different. I just liked the maps, I just liked the textures they left on the paper, and it gave me a light bulb there. Like, what if you go back to the studio and try painting with coffee and see what it turns out to be like? And that's what I did. And by the time I did my first painting, I loved exactly what I saw. The brown is different. It has a gold feel, a gold texture on this. The umber is like a golden umber, and it was too different from watercolor and acrylic. This is something none of those mediums could achieve. And so I was like, hey, it smells nice. It smells like coffee. You understand? So this is me having an artwork that smells like my favorite beverage. It was just a mad combo for me. I just had to go on with it, and I tested the market. My first client was actually an Indian, and when he received the artwork, he could perceive the coffee all over the artwork, and he just fell in love with it. And since then, he started asking for more, but I didn't want to sell all my artworks to one client now. To just have a gallery of coffee artworks in his house. So I had to, start planning exhibitions, workshops. Yeah, I had a couple of workshops back then. Started, enlightening people on how to create paintings with coffee. A lot of people didn't understand how coffee could actually make artworks that would last for a lifetime, for the fact that it's a beverage. So a lot of clients out there were actually worried, would these artworks last? Would it not wash away? Would it not be eaten by termites? And as a coffee lover, I already had my research, and I discovered that I didn't invent coffee painting. There were a lot of guys there in Europe and America that were already doing coffee paintings. But I had to do something special with mine because most of them painted on paper. I had to go from paper to canvas, and not just canvas, a textured canvas, because a lot of art collectors love artworks that they can feel and enjoy the textures of the brush strokes and all that. So I tried to impute that in my coffee painting as well. So my coffee paintings are on canvas and they have textures. Now, coffee has a very, very, very high caffeine percentage that's very harmful to insects. So it also serves as an insecticide. This is what a lot of people don't know about coffee. So there is no way termites would come to coffee and don't die. They would just die. So my artwork kills termites. You understand? I get my coffee and I dilute the coffee into paste. I make paste out of it, and it's just like watercolor. The more you add water, the more you dilute it, the lighter shade you get. The thicker it is, the darker shades you get. So when I want to I add my dark shades first, of course. I start with the dark shades because coffee is also oily at the same time. So you have to be careful. It's a very, very tricky medium. It can mess you up if you're not careful, because when you apply your first stroke or your first shade and you want to apply another on that one, you might end up peeling out the first one from the canvas or from the paper because of the oily element it has in it. So it's advisable to sometimes apply the darker shade first, so that you don't have to apply lighter shade on the darker shade. So you apply the darker shade first, and then you can now spread from the darker shade to the lighter shade on every different parts of the object and all that. So it's a kind of like tricky medium to use, but once you keep practicing, you get a perfect hold of it. So after painting, I allow to dry. I don't sun dry because the more you heat it, the more the oil elements there stay wet. So coffee is not like acrylic that you can dry under the sun. No, you can't dry coffee under the sun. It just needs a cool weather and it dries. A cool temperature just dries it up. And when it dries, I fix it, and after fixing it, I varnish it. So I don't use gloss varnish because gloss is also oily as well. So that's two oil meeting together, doesn't look good. So I normally use matte varnish. It works perfectly well for it, and the coffee tends to become more solid, more dried, and yeah, voila, for more years to come. 100 years or whatever, it stays, never fades away. A test was actually carried out, coffee versus watercolor and acrylic under sunlight, and it came out that coffee actually remained vibrant at the end of the day, while acrylic and watercolor started fading out. Not fading out, but they became dull tints, or dull, let's say, just use dull. They became dull compared to coffee. Coffee remained vibrant, remained glossy, and all that. So it's actually a very a very weird beverage to transform into a paint medium. It turns out very fantastic, very unique, very beautiful, and of course it smells like coffee. What's better than that? My painting depicts a lot of emotions. I try to depict a bad story to make it look good, or a sad event. I try to bring the bright side out of it and depict it on canvas. I try to always put a smile on people's faces with my stories, be it if it's been inspired from something, a terrible event or good event or love event or whatever. And this is what I discovered that people really love to see. They love to relate with an artwork that will be able to make them reminisce on moments, on things that actually happened in the past or something. I talk about women that are being abused. I talk about the girl child. I talk about Africa at large. I talk about things that relates with what is going on right now in our society that everyone wants to be able to talk about and they can't even voice out. We artists, I as an artist, it's my duty to be able to voice out on canvas, to be able to pass my message on canvas and let them understand that this is how people feel about what is going on in society. This is how children feel. This is how mothers, women feel. This is how the society at large feel about the environment and all. So these are things that I try to depict on my paintings. They are not just fantasies or just stories that just pop up from my head. They are always things that have been inspired by live events. The coffee break is one of my favorite artworks. Just like the name, the coffee break. It's actually depicting a coffee break, hosted by Queen Elizabeth, and our guests are the top. They were the top controversial leaders back then in 20. I made that artwork in 2018, 2019. Yeah, back then in 2019, they were the top controversial leaders running things in the world. And I always ask myself this question: there is Iraq, Afghanistan, there's Boko Haram, there's Russia, there's Israel and Gaza. Like, these wars are just everywhere. Donald Trump is there. Obama is trying to take down Bin Laden. Like, crazy things going on everywhere. And I'm like, hey, you know that if these guys can actually come together, just come together and say, okay, guy, let us be friends. Let's stop all this rubbish, all this childishness. Come on, let's take coffee. Just drink coffee. Just come together and just, just kill their differences, shake hands, hug, kiss. The world will be at peace. They are actually the ones in charge. The world will be at peace. So that was what came to my mind, and I was like, oh, really? What would it be like having like a Last Supper kind of concept? And instead of having Jesus Christ in the middle, let's have Queen Elizabeth, because she's the eldest, and she has these different leaders by her side, left and right, on the table, and they are all conversing, of course, with our Buhari at the end. They're all conversing, and it's something. It sends a very powerful message. It's not a controversial message. It's a message saying that, hey, guys, we can actually embrace peace in this world. We just need you guys to get yourselves together, become friends, just hug, exchange WhatsApp numbers and Instagram handles. Just be friends, and there will be peace. Boko Haram will lay down their guns. Gaza and Israel will lay down their guns, and all the nuclear bombs and all that will be kept, will just be hidden up and all that, and there will be peace around the whole world. Because once these top countries can actually embrace peace, the smaller countries can't start making noise now. They'll shut them up. Do you understand? So that was what the concept was about. So this was them just taking a break from all their differences, sipping coffee, having different thoughts. They're not thinking about bullets and bombs and pressing the red button and all that. They're just relaxing and enjoying the world, and the world is becoming a better place. That was the whole idea of the coffee break. But hey, it's just a painting, right? Nomadic Gallery has been able to bring together a couple of young artists that are actually the future of the industry. The young minds have crazy concepts and ideas that are really pushing the African arts, contemporary artists out there to greatest heights. Things are really happening right now. There are artists with mad, crazy talent, and Nomadic Gallery has been able to pick out a couple of them and be able to create this awesome community of artists. It's going to be something totally different in years to come, because by then you see these artists are fully matured to be game changers, artists that are bringing a whole new dimension to art and all that. So it's something beautiful that the gallery is actually doing right now. Hi, it's me again, Ekene Ngige, the coffee artist. It was a pleasure having you in my studio, having you in my art cave to be with me in a well caffeinated atmosphere.